Okay, so another viewer requested reading, and as you can tell, I did not put the name on the video, and I will not use the name because, frankly, allow me a few minutes to rant a little bit, not rant, but just say the reason I'm not going to disclose. I don't know if I'm going to do this from now on. Just put the initials is because I am I've been pushed to my limit with the negative comments from yeah, it's just they're ignorant comments, and I hate to say that because that sounds so judgmental, but accusing me of being jealous, being triggered in fear, um, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just mean-spirited. I'm hateful. How dare I? How dare I do videos that viewers request because I'm imposing on their inner truth? I mean, it just goes on and on. And all of the commenters are coming from teachers, very big followings, very big followings, all talking about unconditional love and working on yourself. And it, it is, and all these comments are coming from those supporters, and it is completely confirming what many of us who are doing what I'm doing, confirming this new age teaching, these cult-like emergences of people teaching these teachings are actually backfiring, and they're making very angry, um, protective supporters that go out there and just say mean. I mean, it's obvious the new age teachings are not working. Now, if somebody were to come to me and go, "Oh, wow, this is really, interesting. I don't know if I agree because my experience has been this," then I am perfectly open to revisiting my reading. Approach me in kindness, and I am open to being completely wrong, to checking. Yeah. And, this whole thing about encroaching on somebody else's inner truth, not telling them to go inwards. I mean, obviously, you know nothing about me. You don't know what I share, what I tell people. I mean, you're ignorant, and I'm tired of it. So I'm just gonna put the initials because this teacher, no doubt, has a huge following, and I just don't want to deal with it. And if you figure out who I'm talking about, then boy, yeah, that will say something in itself. Okay, so what else? The other thing about encroaching on somebody's inner truth, it's apparent if somebody's asking me for a reading, they're like, I wonder, maybe something feels off. And I can't quite tell because I'll tell you this, it, it, our inner truth has been so compromised because we live in the head, and it's reaction, 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 and people are not embodied. They have no idea that the senses, the five senses, are the gateway to your inner truth. And it's so covered up with false beliefs. Yeah, inner truth sometimes is hard to come by if you're trying to do it from the mind. And these people are just reacting from the mind, the mind, the mind. I'm tired of it. You can probably tell. Anyway, let's move on with this person. Um, Current name is the initials CM, has gone by many names, and that in itself is a tell. The names, rather than the ordinary common human name that have been used, have been very big, very big spiritual names that have changed over the years. And I'm sorry, that's already a big tell. Now, I know nothing about this person. I knew nothing about this person. I don't have any preconceived ideas. And my process is, for all of the haters out there, that I just pull up the latest video, I listen to it, I sit in absolute stillness, and I'm not judging. I don't have any personal gain. I don't care. It's Whatever the information comes through is I will share. I am completely impersonal, but I'm also completely passionate and I want to understand what is going on. If you've ever finished any of my videos, you know I'm not doing this to hurt anybody. So, yeah, so I initially checked in with a video, the latest video that is out. I think it's still the latest video. And uh, yeah, my whole body is no, 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 no. Some things, what I want to say right off the bat, most of what these big teachers with followings are teaching, and this person in particular, is teaching personal development. Let's have a better career, better relationships, let's manifest more, while using spiritual terms and spiritual concepts to make it look like it's a spiritual evolution, which is a false term. Okay, if you knew anything about consciousness, you would know that there's no evolution necessary. Okay, so these are little cues, these words that they use, consciousness evolution, wrong, ding, ding, ding. But they're really just, they mix in good stuff with personal development, throw in spiritual terms, and I'm going to build my own vocabulary, and I'm going to say I'm getting all these downloads, and it's such a mess. Yeah, so that's what's going on here. There's like so much going on that it was so much information it was hard to get through. Okay, so CM/SJ, whatever you want to call this person. Yeah, so I was getting a big no physically, like, no, this is not right. And then I go to the website and I read some stuff. And then again, I was having my body and my senses are telling me no, no. Okay. I'm not making it happen. It's just a natural pushing away, like, no, something's off here. Okay. Now, the archetype that I got, sorry, at the end of my reading, the archetype that I got, the devil, of course, this is a metaphor, but I will read you what the devil archetype represents. Of course, it's the universal symbol in the collective unconscious that represents the shadow self or destructive instincts. These are the archetypes that lure individuals through deception, rationalization, and the inflation of ego. So you get the point. This is exactly what I got. Now, before I get into my empathetic, like tuning in, what did I feel? I do look at their birth charts using names and stuff, and I have empathy. I have absolute empathy. I can see where this manifestation into what this person is doing now came from. So it appears what I was getting is that in a past life, which you brought in this life, there was a cult and the use and a cult work, uh, using other people's energy and manipulating them. He was a dark arts master. And when that comes in, that's like an underlying, it's like something that follows you, that tendency of that samskara to, okay, but he was kind of meant to not do that. That in his outer life, very difficult soul contract that says, yeah, you're going to have lots of shocks in life, lots of things that you start, they're going to fail. Start again, shock. So, and as after I did my reading, I do some research, and it does appear that many businesses started and failed. Many, what is the word? Many things this person has started and they've crashed, and they've had lots of controversy about yeah, being con artists kind of thing, occult thing, cult-like thing. So I can see that coming. Anyway, so that was the birth name, and it's a very difficult and very kind of not boring chart, but it was meant to have a real spiritual awakening this lifetime. But sometimes we don't like it and we change our name. And so used a different name, a common human name, and that name fits more perfectly because right up front it says, It's the inflation of the ego self, and it says, I am taking on a God complex. It is the narcissistic personality coming out that I am here to help people, and I'm going to, like, the narcissistic personality. However, also very charismatic and will draw lots and lots of people to himself. Okay, now let me move on to my empathetic tuning in. So just, just visually seeing the face, looking at the face, I see two people, very uncomfortable. Um, and I hear wounded, very, very wounded, which I totally get and I totally feel. Um, Wounded, and then I heard jackal behavior and conscious, which means a jackal represents, I'm at survival level, very resourceful, uses what is available. And in this particular, they're very cunning, and jackals use deceit and manipulation. They use false charm to trick others, and that's what I was feeling. Preys on the weakness, yes. What I did get is, I mean, this is the perfect human vessel for other entities to work through them, and so he does have some manipulation going on. And let me say this: there is conscious and then unconscious. There is conscious manipulation. This is what he knows to do, as well as his partner. There is a partner there. They're very aware of preying on the weaknesses of people. However, the manipulation from an outside source is feeding in downloads that he truly believes, but they are false. These stories of a big divine order that starts with an M, Melchizedek order, and all this sort of stuff, and the breeding programs, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I got physically ill listening to all that. It was so repulsive. Okay. And I hate to say that, but that's just my truth meter. If yeah. Okay. Let's see. And then tuning in to him empathetically, allowing his, like, merging with the consciousness. Oh, I felt a real disdain for the people he's working with. I'm sorry to say that. And he's like, these people, and he has kind of anger for them, but mostly anger at himself. And I felt this drilling into my heart, and he's like angry about his failures. Anyway, it was not very comfortable. And I'm kind of, you may see this because I just finished. This is the energy that I've taken on. He is definitely, I got a big yes on taking on the Christ or Savior complex, has a very distorted view of source. Now, when I tune in with my senses, the base, the chakras, the energy centers, the base, I don't even, you can figure out what these mean. Base, sulfur, the smell of sulfur, uh, intimate taste, black goo or tar. Expression, or what he's doing in the world, is a farmer with a pitchfork. And I really, I don't know what that symbolism is, but I'm just going to use a pitchfork and I'm slinging hay. I don't really know. You can figure that out. The heart, cold spikes, and I got an ill feeling. So the heart really hasn't been activated. There's a wound. There's definitely a wound. And let's see what else. The throat expression, screeching cars coming to a crash. Okay, so you can figure out what all that means. Yes, the partner is in on the scam. And when I throw for a hexagram, what do we need to know about this person? I've got 21, and this is a person who uses power to impress, has to impress his point of view on others, power to correct others through his words and thoughts and action, believes he has the duty to do so. So again, taking on this savior complex. Like, he really truly kind of believes this in a way. What else do I want to share with you? There are some things in his writings on the website or Substack um, talking about so, and here's the thing. You go to the website or his writings, there's a whole new vocabulary, like throwing in all these extra words, same concept, but same concepts as regular spirituality has been out forever. But now I'm throwing words in like mirror. Oh, I can't remember all of them, but it's just that's what cult leaders do. They make up their own vocabulary. It makes you feel special. It makes your work feel special and nobody else is doing it. Anyway, I do want to say, so he uses mirror AI, mimic AI, blah, blah, blah. And he states that there would be some AI bifurcation coming. And I got a yes, I agree. And it's actually already happening where this AI, spiritual AI, people will get very attached to that and it's not the real thing. Yeah, I do believe that that's happening. In regards to his offerings, and by the way, I did get, because it's very obvious, I didn't just, I'm not just a psychic that put up a channel today. I've been doing this for over, well, 50 years since I was a child. I've studied a lot. I recognize a lot. So when I read somebody's stuff, I go, oh yeah, they got that from that. He has taken all these other teachings, theosophy, Gnostic, shamanic, and rolled them all into one as his own teaching, his own vocabulary. But yeah, it's obvious. Anyway, his offerings regarding soul schematic sequencing made me ill. It makes me ill. Just saying that, it's a false technology. I would be careful with that. This whole idea of the Melchizedek library is also false. Sorry, it's coming in. Taking concepts for the Gnostic and Theosophy, and also the idea of this recycling of souls. Of course, that's a Gnostic belief or transmission, and he's like pulling it without saying it's his own knowledge, to make a new story. Yes, I got a yes on that. Yes, copies the flame from the theosophy teaching. Yes. Golden light in the heart. No, he talks about this golden light in the heart. No. Um, this flame, he states, see, there's a little bit of truth. These teachers are very, very good. There's always a little bit of truth, and then there's some falseness. Truth, false, truth, false. It's a game. And yeah, you have to be really discerning. Yes, the flame that he's attempting to awaken in you, or anyway, hold on, is here to help you remember who you are. False statement. Now I'm being very picky about the words that you use. The words that you use transmit information, right? The ego takes it and thinks, oh, I'm here to discover who I really am. Was I Princess Aaliyah or something? I don't even know what I'm saying, right? It's the who. No, this is a false statement. It's never about the who, because your spiritual journey is never about the personal. It's never about this personality. It's always about what you are, which is completely impersonal. Okay. So there we go. And it's here to help you to remember what matters in life. Is it? No, the divine spark, or the flame, as he calls it, Theosophy calls it the flame, is completely impersonal, doesn't care what you do, is the ultimate witness, is in the background, in stillness, silence, not giving you any direction at all. You're just supposed to tune into the body and allow the senses to feel the truth of your every move. Okay. Or just movement in life. Okay. So it's not here to tell you what to do. Not directly like this to tell you what matters. I mean, see, it's like using words that are like half truths, but the ego mind takes it anyway. The flame here, this is coming from me. The flame, the monadic self simply gives life and is totally impersonal. Okay, we got that. Now, there's an offering of, he talks about in an article about this AI and how it's bad, bad, bad. And I agree with everything. And he says, and the AIs will give downloads, give divine downloads that, oh shit, it was such a good thing that I guess, make you feel grandiose. Is kind of interesting. Everything he says on his websites and stuff is actually what he's embodying. It's like, wow, he's putting it right out there. Um, Rather than humbling you, I will tell you this, that true transmissions that come in, or ahas or realizations, that they don't humble you like you need. See, I think people would take this and go, oh, I'm supposed to be humble. This is like, oh, it's supposed to be small, or I don't know. It just is such a tricky little thing. So now when he teaches you, maybe he'll say something to humble you and you'll feel bad and you'll think, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to be humbled. You see, this is manipulation at its finest. Yeah, so he says that he can do some kind of flame transmission. I'm sorry. No, like just saying this is like, no, I'm sorry. Nobody can transmit the monadic flame to another person. It's already there. You're already it. You just don't recognize it. Okay? It's already there, albeit some people's monadic selves are not awake yet. Okay. Yes. And in his teachings, yes, I'm going to say yes, where he's here to disrupt current identifications. Absolutely 100%. That's what the whole spiritual consciousness awakening journey is about taking off all those clothes and images to get to the bare naked truth of what you are, rather than putting on. So I say, yay. So some of his work is good. It's mindfulness, it's some meditations. Watch out for I wouldn't do any of them because I think there could be some false energy transmissions, but whatever. Some things are good, right? He says you have to purify and be prepared before any of this happens. No, the universe says, no, no, no. This is such a false concept that you need a purified and prepared vessel for any of this. No, don't believe that bullshit. Let's see, something about, and and that any revelation that you have demands embodiment before the revelation or the realization can occur. No, no, let that go. You don't have to. In fact, embodiment happens after you have an aha or a realization or a revelation, whatever he's talking about, not before, not before. And it's never required. Okay. And also he's telling you there will be many deaths before the births. Okay, I get a big no on that because even spiritually, yes and no, but coming the way he's saying it, I get a big no, because no, you don't have to die. But I think it's a setup for, you get a transmission or you get work done with this person, and then you feel really bad. And then you're going to go, oh, yeah, there's many deaths that happen before the rebirth. So programming you to feel bad, when in actuality, it might be your inner truth and your body telling you, no, this transmission is not right. Okay, I think that's all I've got. I think you've figured out the result of this reading, and check you next time. Okay, bye.